to another episode of Curtain Call Conversations. I'm here today with Sorcha Kennedy. I hope I've said that right.
Sorcha,
Sorcha.
like Portia.
Sorcha, like Portia. Love it. We're just about to star in Scarlet Sunday, which will be at the Omnibus Theatre in London from the 28th of this month. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. We're on a day off today, so back into the final week of rehearsals tomorrow. But yeah, feeling good about it.
Fantastic. So you play Yasmin in this play. So tell me about it. I mean, tell me what the story is of Scarlet Sunday.
So Scarlet Sunday, without giving too much away, Scarlet Sunday it's two women meeting in a cafe, complete strangers. They both need something from each other, very different things from each other. One is a journalist who I play, and she is speaking to the daughter of a very famous sort of era-defining visual artist who's recently passed away. So Camilla plays Ava, who's the daughter of this artist. And throughout the play, Yasmin's trying to get the inside scoop of the story, and Ava, the other character, the daughter, is trying to find some place where she can offload or share some very traumatic events in her past, I suppose. But the whole piece really looks at, I suppose, the piece looks at art and separating art from artists, all the sort of knotty questions surrounding that. It looks at like how easily we can forgive and excuse in the name of creative genius. And yeah, it's just really, it's not didactic in any way. I think that's what I love about it. It's just like poking around in these very knotty conversations and personifying that through these incredibly complex women. And it's a really taut piece. And yeah, it's I think it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, it sounds brilliant. So Yasmin, tell me about her. Tell me what's her character like? How have you brought her to
She's fascinating to me. So Yasmin, she's an arts curator and journalist. So she's kind of in this world, ferociously passionate about art, but specifically this one artist, Ray Blackwood, to a point of idolatry and obsession, really. She's very intelligent. I would say her great Achilles heel is she can be blinded to the ethical implications of her actions by the sheer force of her drive and ambition. And yeah, she needs to be liked and she needs to be needed, and I think that can blind her to what other people need from her sometimes. But she also has the capacity to be very for childlike wonder and exuberance in a way that's quite exciting to play. But yeah, she makes decisions that I would say are fairly abhorrent at some points.
Okay.
So yeah.
Right. So this is just a two-hander between yourself and Camilla Aiko, who plays Ava, as you say.
Yeah.
How do you find that, just working with one other person as opposed to an ensemble piece?
It's very intense. I love working with Camilla. She's a phenomenal actress to work alongside. But you are completely locked into each other for the whole duration of the piece. And it's a piece which is about two strangers. And I think there's something really interesting in that, because it means that the stakes of the play is that anyone could just leave. Anyone could just leave at any moment, but for some reason they don't. And there's an intensity to the relationship, and they really push and pull with each other. We're prowling around each other for the whole piece, and constantly observing to test the reactions of what you're doing and to make sure that something's getting through. All you've got is this other person on stage, and it's like there's a tight rope between us that could break and snap or just at any point. And I think we've leaned into that. We start the play in quite an intense way, and then which then breaks and loosens up, but we've lent into the fact that we are just zeroing in onto each other, and that's it. But I really love it, because it's like an actor's dream, I suppose, to just be in this lovely connected duologue. And James's writing just flies off the page, because he writes dialogue really brilliantly. So it's really playful, it's really like textured, it's really rhythmic, and to be able to kind of dance back and forth with another actor who is, she's a very generous actor, and one that I really enjoy working with. So yeah, I think compared with an ensemble piece, it's yeah, there's an intensity to it, but it's a good intensity.
Yeah, I mean, you're in rehearsals at the moment for this. So what was the rehearsal process like for you? I mean, do you enjoy it, or do you just want to get out there on the stage in front
No,
of?
I love rehearsal. I love rehearsal. I was thinking about this today, actually. I was like, I could rehearse honestly for about 2 years. I love it. You hear about like the Russian theatre system, like back in the day. I don't know about it now, but like they would rehearse for like a year and a half before putting a show on. And I was like,
Yeah.
I could do that. I really could. I love rehearsals. It just feels like you forget that at some point it's going to be watched by other people. And you just, yeah, it's just this really exploratory place to toss all the ideas out and take things too far and then bring them back in and like bounce ideas, and you're really working, it's this kind of co-imaginative space in an ideal way. So me, Imi and Camilla, so Imi is the director, who's brilliant. We've kind of just been, it's just been us three, and you know, James has been in the room as well, as a really, really helpful writer in the room for the first week. But it's just us kind of filling out the whole world and making sure we've got all our minds on the same kind of track. And yeah, it's silly, it's playful, but it's also been really, really intense, and you feel like incubated, so you can take lots of risks in that room. And I've always loved a rehearsal room.
Do you feel the same about sort of the audition process? How do you find auditions?
Well, I think auditions are always, you kind of have to train yourself to enjoy them a little bit, in my opinion. So auditions are, this was just one tape for this one, so I didn't do an audition in person. But I think, I'm not quite sure how I got this part, but I did a tape for it. But I think someone had seen a previous piece that I'd done, so therefore it was, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, an audition, I think if you're gonna kind of have resilience through the industry, you've got to kind of learn to slightly enjoy your audition processes. I think self-taping is another kettle of fish. If you can enjoy your self-tapes, that's great, because no one became an actor so that they could act alone in their room to a phone camera. That's not why any of us got into this job.
Exactly.
But audition rooms are good, because all you can do is what you've prepared. And I love when you get to go into a room and you get to present your first bold choice, and if it's totally off the mark, then hopefully a director would say, let's see if you can work, and then you know if you can work together. And yeah, it's
I mean,
if you can learn to enjoy them.
I mean, the audition process, is that sort of, as an actor, is that sort of the most perhaps nervous that you would be? I mean, once you're booked to do the job, do you relax into it more, or do you find that you're becoming a bit more sort of nervous about the whole play, because you've got to bring a character to life?
I think,
as well.
I mean, I have audition nerves for sure, but I think there's a different, I get nervous before we open. I get nervous before press night. I get nervous at previews. But now I've done the process enough times, I recognize that there's nerves coming up, and I'm like, oh, these are the nerves that come this time, and I'm more used to it. And I think that the nerves mean nerves and excitement sit so close together. In fact, they're pretty much one and the same. And I feel like I've now tried to have a conversation with myself about nerves and being like, it's energy for free if I use it in the right way, if I channel it right. And if you're nervous, it means you care about something, and you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, which is a really good place to be for things that you care about. I guess it's just having coping mechanisms, having mechanisms to make sure they don't transform into something slightly more, deep set, and you don't want to be stressed. But nerves and tingly is good, I think. And so long as you know that you can feel it and do it anyway, or check them, then that's okay.
I mean, as you say, nerves are good, because it does mean that you care about what you're doing. So it is.
Totally. I mean, I've definitely done a longer run where I was nervous about not being nervous by week 6 or something, and then you're going, why am I not nervous? I'm just every day going to the shop buying milk, but the same sensation on stage. But that's a different kind of job.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is it that drew you to this particular story, and written by James Alston, as we've mentioned there? So what is it about the story that sort of you were like, yes, I'd love to play Yasmin?
I mean, it was such a good first read. I got sent the script as part of the audition, and it wasn't the same draft as it is now, but it already just flew right off the page. And
Mm.
I just read it in one sitting and was already
Uh,
sort of tickled by, was laughing, and then the I loved how, I think what I really loved was that the drama didn't come out of sort of forcing a plot along. The drama really emerged from two people pressurizing themselves into certain places.
yeah.
And that's like, when I think about the things I love, like brilliant writing, like Succession or something,
Mm.
that's totally character driven. And I
Yeah.
love that kind of writing.
Yeah.
And I also think it's really clever. I mean, there's something, I don't want to give too much away, I'm really bad with that, but there's something about how he handles what's like below. Oh, sorry, my
That's okay.
battery just told me it was running out. I'll plug in. There's a major kind of plot point, but it's something you never get to see,
Mm.
and all of that kind of unknown, and just it's just clever knowing what information to withhold and
Right.
what to be, knowing that there's actually power in inference rather than like showing
Mm.
everything. And
Yeah.
also it does handle some really heavy themes, this piece. It does handle themes which can be quite distressing, quite upsetting, but there's nothing gratuitous about it. He's written
Right.
about it in a way that's really deftly handled, but doesn't shy away from things. And
Mm.
I just thought, I was really, really surprised it was first time writer. And also like the joy of being an actor is you get to like poke around and stick your nose in different parts of the world and different characters' perspectives, and doing something about the art, the visual art world,
Yeah.
and to play someone who is so deeply, for them, that's their profession. It was really, the research has been wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, it's, as you and yourself as an actor, has that always been your love? Is that always what you wanted to do from leaving
Um,
school or at
I
school?
Well, acting kind of. Sorry, I'm running out of battery, so I'm just gonna plug
Oh,
in.
okay. Plug yourself.
Might be a bit wobbly from here on out, but no, I came to act. Well, I did acting in school,
Yes.
sort of when I was just doing school plays and stuff, and I always really loved it. I bounced around a lot of schools, and then but I'd always do acting, and
Mm.
it was this great like social equalizer, I felt, at school. It was very appealing, but it never occurred to me as a career thing at all.
Oh,
And
okay.
then I there wasn't really much youth theatre around where I grew up when I was younger, and the kind of youth theatre that I came across, it was all very musical theatre,
Okay.
which has its merits. It just didn't interest me,
Mm.
and it wasn't until a bit later I went off and did other things, and I was always wanting to be a visual artist, and then I moved back to the UK, having lived in Germany for a wee while, and I started to meet other actors and people who were training at drama school, and they just seemed. I just met a group of people that I just thought were really, really fascinating. And I started to go and see their shows. And there was that element of kind of, oh my God, this is forgotten love that I'd neglected because I never took it seriously as a
Mm.
career. And then I met a playwright, and he put me in the first show that we did together, and then auditioned for drama school and got in, and that was that. And
Mm.
it 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 seemed too wonderful to be a job, really. So I never really considered it until I started meeting people who really were doing it for a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had a favourite piece that you've been involved in? Would you say it's probably the first thing that you ever did, or
Sorry, say that again.
do you have a favourite piece that you've been involved in? Would you say it would be
Yeah.
your first professional job or something since?
No, definitely not the first professional job. Um, I the actually, but it was with the same writer. So me
Okay.
and Max, I did a play. I did a play called Raina, uh, which was on at the Arcola last year. Last
Okay.
year, maybe it was 2 years ago, and that was written by this playwright who was the first sort of person I met in the industry, and years and years ago gave him my first job.
Yeah.
And he wrote this one person show, um, and he wrote it during COVID, and it was on after COVID, and it was sort of all through the eyes of a delivery rider cycling all
Okay.
around London, and all the different characters that she's meeting, but she's also undergoing, she's got sort of dissociative, um, she's having a mental breakdown basically.
Okay.
But it was a really, really brilliant piece of writing, and an absolute like, I graduated just before lockdown, and didn't think I was really ever going to work again. And then this piece came across, and it was one of the most beautiful, like challenging, exciting jobs for an actor. And I didn't think I'd be able to kind of play that kind of part straight out of drama school, because I did all the other characters in the play. It was very physical, it was very funny, it was very emotional, it was very beautiful. And also it was a piece that, yeah, it was a piece that had its like very, very timely. So I love doing that. Big challenge, but
yeah, sounds it. So just going back to Scarlet Sunday then, it's opening at the Omnibus Theatre, which is in Clapham in London between the 28th of Feb and the 17th of March. I mean, it sounds fascinating. Can't wait to hear what people think of the show, and really good luck with the rest of the rehearsals and of course the show. I really hope it goes well. Thank you for spending some time
thank you
this
so much.
afternoon.
It was a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye, take care.
Bye.